Hello, I'm here today with Hudson Andrews, the VP of Marketing for our client Surf Air Mobility. Thank you for joining me, Hudson. Can you start a little bit and tell our audience about what Surf Air is?
Sure, yeah. So Surf Air Mobility is one of the largest commuter airlines in the U.S. by scheduled departures. We think of our business as a platform business model, meaning on one side of the equation, we have our air mobility business, which is defined as our scheduled operations and our charter services. And on the other side, the air technologies side of the business, which is investment into aviation software to deploy not only for our own operations, but also for stakeholders across the value chain of our industry, as well as investment into electrification technology to provide electrified powertrains for the Cessna Grand Caravan aircraft.
Great. Well, thank you again for joining me. The reason we're here today at the studio is to record voiceovers for presentations by your CEO and your CFO to put up on the website, to make available to investors, to prospective investors ahead of meetings. Talk a little bit about, capturing video content, some of the work that you've done in the past, and why video versus sort of text-based communication.
Yeah, so as a brand, Surf Air Mobility considers video to be a paramount medium for us, and that's for a couple of important reasons. I think video is more capable of entertaining, and as a marketer, to deliver information effectively, I think you need an element of entertainment, especially in today's sort of social media, shorter clip, shorter attention span sort of environment. And I think video is the most effective and streamlined way to get both our important as well as just our general brand content out into the wild. It's also the case that people seem to remember video content more than other things. I recently read that 95% of information is retained when viewing a video as compared to 10% when you're just reading an article.
Yeah, it's a pretty stark difference.
Yeah.
So, last year, folks in my team at Arbor, we published a blog post that we entitled, What Investor Relations Executives Can Learn from Marketers. And one of the things we talked about in that blog post is that as investor relations professionals, we tend to be very focused on disclosure and compliance, and we're not sort of marketing oriented in our thoughts, right? Whereas marketers have really shifted from sort of a hard sales technique to really building trust, fostering trust with audiences, which is something we as IROs really need to do too. So it seems like there's a really good opportunity for marketing professionals and investor relations professionals to work together, to capture synergies, to leverage each other's work. So can you, give us your perspective on that?
Sure, yeah. I think the first thing to realize is that our jobs aren't that dissimilar in that it's all just people positioning messaging, right? So if we start with the person, what do they want to understand? It's the same question for both an investor as well as a consumer, right? You start from the common ground, and from there, best in case scenario is that the message doesn't actually vary too much between investor and consumer in many businesses, right? They should be understanding the same flow of information. Now, maybe at the end moment in which, quote unquote, a decision needs to be made, that's when the division or the value prop occurs. But everything up funnel from there, we should be working hand in hand on developing that messaging, because if one side of the brain is not speaking the same language, it is disconnected from the other side of the brain, then you've got a problem.
Well, and also, as you see here, we're capturing a lot of synergies, right? So the work that you've done in the past to capture video, we can repurpose and use on the investor relations side. The work we're doing today on these investor relations presentations, you can repurpose.
Right.
And we did social media cuts today as an example. You can use it for, prospective partners and business partners and customers. So there's a lot of synergies and efficiency in spend by working together that we're seeing. Taking that a step further, right, and start to think about the corporate website. You've got a very strong brand that you put forward in all your materials. You capture that brand even in your investor relations presentations. So speak to me a little bit about how you're using the video content and motion graphics and other things on your website, because honestly, investor relations websites tend to be extremely boring and templated here in the United States, and you guys have taken a very different approach and brought your branding throughout your corporate site, throughout your investor relations site, through all the presentations there, and I think have done really good work. So just talk to us a little bit about how you live with brand identity.
Sure, yeah. I think we put an emphasis on a consistent brand that goes from everything that our executives wear in the videos to the words that they say, to the social media posts that we do, and also obviously all the way to the investor website. The look and the feel has to be the same, and the reason that it has to be the same is because consistency engenders trust, right? Both in the consumer as well as in the investor, and trust at the end of the day is what wins the client.
Well, I got to tell you, we've only been working together about 6 or 8 months now. It's been a great partnership, and I really appreciate all the things we've done together. So thank you.
Likewise. Thank you, Sam.